Hey guys, welcome back to our Kids Club Live Devos for moms and dads. We just want to say thank you again for taking time to invest in your kids' spiritual lives this week, not only by sending them to Kids Club Live, but by entering into this space and listening to these Devos, and so that you can have conversations with your kids about what they're learning and figure out ways that you can continue to spur on that growth in them this week. So this day, your kids have learned about friendship and specifically how to evangelize their friends at Kids Club Live. You may remember that our theme this week is all about evangelizing, letting people know our reason for the hope that we have. And so they've been talking about friendship. Now, my name is Beth, and I have been a Kids Club host for almost 10 years, and I also serve in our student ministry. I've been there for about 4 years, and so I've worked with a lot of different ages of kids, and I can tell you for sure that friendship is a topic that comes up a lot in our conversations. And so the story that they learned from Scripture today is the story of Elijah and the prophets of Baal. If you're not familiar with that story, you can find it in 1 Kings chapter 18, and I would encourage you to look that up and to read that for yourselves. But I'll give you a little summary. So Elijah is the one single prophet of God, and he challenges 450 prophets of Baal, a false god, to a bit of a duel. They meet on the top of Mount Carmel. And Elijah tells these false prophets, he says, hey, you build an altar and I'll build an altar. You take a bull, cut it into pieces, put it on your altar, I'll do the same on mine. Then we'll each call our own gods and ask him to provide the fire for our sacrifice. And whichever God shows up, that's the one that wins. So they agree to his terms. And the prophets of Baal go first, 450 of them. They prepare the altar, they prepare the bull, and they begin to pray and to sing and to cry out and even go so far as to harm themselves in order to get their God to respond to them. But of course, as you may guess, nothing happens. Their God is silent. And so then it's Elijah's turn, and he prays to his God. But before he actually does this, he actually has the prophets of Baal bring buckets and buckets of water and pours that over his altar. He soaks his sacrifice to the point that water is pouring off and it's filling the trench around it, and there's no way this thing could possibly burn. And then he prays, okay, God, show up. I believe in you. I know that you can do this. Show them who you are. And God comes through. He sends down fire from heaven and it burns everything up. It completely torches and annihilates his entire altar. And the prophets of Baal are terrified and they go on the run. Now, you may be asking yourself, what in the world does this story have to do with friendship? So let me tell you. Here's kind of my takeaway from this. It was as we talk to our kids and our students about friendships and the importance of making sure that our friends know the truth about Jesus. One of the things that often comes up in my conversations with your kids is that they enter into a battlefield every single day. They go almost like a single prophet, like Elijah, into their schools, into their sports teams, into your neighborhoods and communities, and they feel alone. And sometimes it feels like they are up against hundreds of other people who don't act like them, live like them, speak like them, and that can be a very lonely experience. And so this is where friendship comes into play. The first thing that we always talk about is surrounding yourselves with the right type of friends. Building a community of like-minded believers around yourself so that you're not alone, so that together you can go into these spaces and you can proclaim the good news about Jesus. But the second thing that we talk about is that if you don't have that community around you, then build it. This is where evangelism comes into play. Tell one friend, 2 friends about the love of Jesus, about the difference that Jesus has made in your life and how he can do the same for them. And slowly but surely, you will find that you are not the only one speaking the truth of Jesus into the lives of all of these lost people. So again, we want to thank you so much for taking time to listen to these short little devos so that you can now carry on these conversations with your kids. Thank you for making this investment, not just in their lives of fun and their lives with their friends, but in their lives with Jesus. It really will make a difference. So be blessed and go forth in your parenting.